to 4.
Do you have a gardening problem? We can help you with that. A program dedicated to help you grow a better garden, maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make that grass look a little bit greener, as well as preserving what you grow. We're here to help you with your gardening problem. You're tuned in to Garden Talk Radio.
You are listening to the most informational-packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us to talk gardening for the next hour. Whether you're listening to us on one of the 16 radio stations that is broadcasting our show here in 2020, through a radio app, through our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Season 4 tab at the top of the page, or on podcast replay or in-studio video replay. Thank you very much. I am your host, Joy Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is all about you, for you, to help your garden grow better, to have healthier trees, to maintain your landscape, to make your yard look greener, as well as preserving what you grow indoors and out. There's several ways in which you can get a hold of us during the program, and that can be via email at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. You can, again, send us an email anytime at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. If you're on Twitter, you can tweet us at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG. You can follow us on our Facebook page, The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, or you can jam your fingers in the phone and give us a call anytime, 24/7, at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-SHOW. We've got a big show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about 5 good bugs and 5 bad bugs in your garden in segment 1. In segment 2, we're going to discuss farmers markets, and our guest is garden trend expert Katie Dubow will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. So let's get into the program, Holly. We're going to talk about 5 good bugs and bad bugs in your garden. So let's start with the bad bugs first.
Okay, so the first one we have here that is very common is aphids, and aphids are basically like the tick of the garden world. They suck the nutrients from your plants, and so there's a few things you can do. Is you can take some water and spray your plants, or a garden spray bottle.
CHAPIN pump sprayer.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you can encourage the good bugs to come along.
And we'll talk about those in a moment. But what are those good bugs that will eat these aphids?
There's lacewings, lady beetles, hoverflies, midges, big-eyed bugs, damsel bugs, soldier beetles, and blister beetles.
And how aphids come in a variety of different shapes and colors, black, brown, yellowish, or white, and they will attach themselves to the undercarriage of the leaf structure, and they don't kill the plant by mowing it down, but like you said, they suck the juices out of it.
Yeah, they suck all the juices out of it, so then the plant typically isn't strong enough, and it becomes kind of wilty. Aphids also they can reproduce without mating, so they are kind of a special kind of evil. Another thing you can do, especially if you can see them, is you can take some soapy water, and that tends to spray your plants with soapy water. It tends to get rid of them. And also there's a trick with worm castings.
Worm castings provide or contain a beneficial property in which you feed them to your plants, or some people will grow in worm castings. But if you're not growing them, you can take and top dress your plant with those worm castings, water them in. Worm castings is the byproduct of the worm, and the property gets uptake into the plant, and then as the aphid is sucking the juice from the plant, that property goes in the aphid, and it begins to dissolve the aphid from the inside out.
Right. So that is an option for you. Another option is that if you have one plant that these aphids are just like loving, then you could probably just leave that plant and use it as a sacrificial plant. That's happened to us, and actually it was a what was that? A dandelion?
Lamb's quarter.
Lamb's quarter. And unfortunately, yeah, they decided to become best friends with that plant. You do take the chance sometimes if it's a weed or something of that weed reseeding, but it's kind of like, do you want your plants to live in the moment or not?
Tomato hornworm is another one. You can hand pick these off. They are very difficult to see. These attack the tomato plant. It actually eats the fruit typically about 12 hours before you intend to harvest the tomato that's almost ripe. And you can spot them if you've got a keen eye. We were only able to identify them when it was on an isolated plant in a grow bag by itself. And I knew there was one on there. They're
very hard to see.
You can illuminate them at dark with a black light, and they will pop out. They do the most damage between at dawn and at dusk, and you can blast them with a hose, the tomato plant, and sometimes dislodge them. However, you can damage the plant. The best thing that we have found that works for us is, number one, you don't plant the tomatoes in the same physical location as they were last year, but you incorporate bird feeders or tuna cans on sticks in amongst your tomato patch. That brings the birds in. The birds can find these hornworms and eat them, and you eliminate them. And since we've been doing that practice,
it's been very successful for us
for like 5-6 years now. Another one. What's another one here? Snails and slugs.
So snails and slugs, you can hand pick them. You can use beer traps.
This is the best thing that we've found.
Found beer traps definitely work. Sometimes if you take coffee grounds or sand, eggshells around the plant, that works because that tears up their underside and they don't like crawling through that or slithering.
Explain the beer trap, because that's probably the most successful one. Now, there's beer traps that you can make in your home, and there's also ones that are commercially available that have a lid on it to prevent the water from rain diluting the alcoholic beverage.
So what you do is, if you want to do it yourself, you just take a cup or even like a tuna can or something, and you just bury it so it's at soil level, so the lip of it's at soil level, and then you put beer in it, and the slugs love that. They just crawl in there. I guess they probably get drunk, but you do want to move it away from your plants or put it away from your plants so that they get attracted to the beer away. So if you have like a corner of your garden that's you're not using, that's where you want to put the beer trap.
Another bug is the squash vine borer, which attacks your zucchini and pumpkins, all but the butternut squash, because the stem is thick enough that it can't burrow in and lay its larva. You will know that you have this, but by being vigilant and looking at the stalk. If it looks like there's a hole and sawdust coming out at the base about 2 inches up, there are in there. The larva has been laid in there, and they are starting to potentially eat away at the internal portions, which cuts and severs the veins from the water uptake. That's why when you have a zucchini plant and it looks like it needs water, and you just watered it, and the next day it's flat on the ground, this is what's in it.
So the squash vine borer, what Joey does, and he does this, is he takes and he does some surgery.
Yeah, I slit open the stem about 3 inches from the soil level, and you'll be able to open it up a little bit, not sever it from the actual rootstock, but you'll be able to see the larvae begin to emerge, and you'll pull these little white worms out, and there's typically 5-7 worms in there, and you get rid of them. And that is what saves our plants over and over and over again when it comes to the squash vine borer.
Right. So that is another one. And then the fifth one we have here is the potato beetle. And we've never had potato beetle problems, but a lot of people do. The biggest thing most people have to do, unfortunately, is just find them and pick them off. You
can vacuum them off. People will take the vacuum out in the garden with them. However, if you grow sage along with your potatoes, that aroma kind of has a deterrent. It's kind of a companion plant where it helps the other, and it works very well for some people. They find that to be a very beneficial plant to grow next to. Well, let's talk about 5 good bugs, I guess is what you would label them. There's a couple of ones that are here, not necessarily bugs, but earthworms is a great beneficial. It's the workhorse of the garden. Earthworms they compost, they break down soil, they break down
all sorts of things in your garden. They are definitely a decomposer. So they circulate the soil, they circulate the decayed matter in your soil. So they are a workhorse of the garden.
And do not add worms. Fill your garden with compost, shredded leaves, chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings, coffee grounds. They will come. They can travel a tremendous amount of distance in a very short period of time, and they will migrate to your property when the conditions are favorable.
So ladybugs, they do eat aphids. Some people will buy ladybugs and release them in your garden, blah, blah, blah.
It's not recommended
because you don't know if
they're not staying there. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not like, oh, here's my home now. Thanks for the real estate.
Incorporate plants that are pollinated that you can.
So they like things like fennel, dill, cilantro, things like that. Yarrow, caraway, geraniums, coreopsis, and cosmos. They seem to like those types of plants.
Bees. We knew that one was going to be on the list somewhere down the line. Bees. Incorporate flowers. Lots of flowers. Incorporate bee favorable habitats such as watering stations, subtype of things like that. Bees. Without bees, we lose almost everything that we know to be life. So do not use harmful chemicals, especially in the spring. We got dandelions going to be popping up if they're not already. People go in and spray them, and the bees get in there. That's their first pollen of the year. They take them back to the hive, and it messes up their hive and can kill the hive. Just a little thing about dandelions. If you kill them in your yard, dandelion seeds can travel virtually miles. So it's not going to fix the problem. They're still going to be there. Pill bugs.
Yeah, pill bugs, also known as roly-polies or potato bugs. They're another decomposer. They're going to go ahead and break the decaying matter down, and then they also move the soil around. They're a natural way to remove heavy metals from the soil, so they absorb those toxins, and they give you good, clean soil for your plants.
Real quick on the potato beetle on previous there. Mm-hmm. If you mulch your potatoes with straw, it shades the potato from the sunlight, but also it gives a habitat for the insects that attack and eat the potato beetle there. So
okay. So then we also have lacewings, and lacewings are not harmful or dangerous to humans, but they can.
The potato beetle.
They can. Potato beetle. The lacewings can attack other bugs, and we talked about that with the aphids, and also whiteflies. They can get rid of. So,
very, very. And you may not know you have lacewings, and you may think it's a bad bug, but once you identify some of these, it makes a tremendous difference you can see the ecosystem that is developing on your property.
Right. You definitely want to do your research. So if you see a bug and you're not sure what it is, you want to look into it, see what it's doing, weigh its good and bad. What is it doing to your little ecosystem in your yard, and so on.
Yeah, just have a mixture of plants that way can ensure a lot of food source for the green lacing. If the bugs are running around, they're going to eat the other bugs. So good bugs, bad bugs, identify so you know what you're doing. And if you're going to use harmful chemicals, I would advise not to, because if you use a harmful chemical to kill bug A, that harmful chemical kills all bugs, good and bad. And then you have a ecosystem that is very vulnerable to attacks from other insects.
Right. So, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to our show. This is our 9th show of 2020. Did you miss last week's show? We talk about growing great tomatoes, irrigation, and our guest was author and podcaster Melissa Norris. You can listen to the show by going to your favorite podcast platform and search the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Podcast, or we will make it even easier for you to find them. You send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and in the subject line put show 8, and we will send you the link.
We'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. We'll be talking about farmers markets and what you need to know. You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show, program dedicated to help you grow a better garden, maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow indoors and out.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
We here at the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardens understand that healthy soil is always the key to a successful garden. We know that chemical fertilizer burns carbon out of the soil and kills the microlife needed for a healthy soil ecosystem. No worries. Chicken Soup for the Soil by Dr. Jim's will stimulate life in the soil and supply all the nutrients most fertilizers neglect. Rather than force-feeding water-soluble chemical fertilizer, we suggest feeding the microbes a smorgasbord of 100% bioavailable nutrients that your plants can consume when they need them. Chicken Soup for the Soil is an amazing fertilizer that will increase the quality of all the fruits and vegetables you grow. Perfect for gardeners, growers, and farmers. To find out more about Chicken Soup for the Soil and other products, visit drjims.com. That's drjimz.com.
Trim Bin turns any chair into a workstation. Comfortably sort your herbs, dried flowers, cannabis, and more. Easily collect pollen with a static brush and mirror finish collection tray. High walls keep your work contained. To get yours, visit harvest-more.com. Made in California. Dig planting holes from a comfortable standing position. Step, twist, pull, and plant. Visit ProPlugger.com. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Do not go anywhere. There is more of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show to come, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com.
Deer Defeat is an all-natural repellent to keep deer, rabbits, and groundhogs away from your precious plants. Deer Defeat protects your plants day and night, dries clear, and odorless. It will not clog your sprayer. Deer Defeat works for 30 days through rain, snow, and freeze. Safe, effective, and works on rabbits. Money-back guarantee. To purchase, go to DeerDefeat.com and use code RADIO to save 10% on your order. Deer Defeat. It can't be beat. Brought to you by Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardens, farms, landscaping, and more. Visit BlueRibbonOrganics.com or call 262-497-8539 to find their products nearest you. Responsible watering, accurate, fast, and efficient. Earth conscious. Visit waterhoop.com.
Looking to kill weeds without using dangerous chemicals like glyphosate? An all-natural weed killer may be just what you're looking for. Green Gobbler's Vinegar Weed Killer is a concentrated herbicide derived naturally from corn. It's 4 times stronger than regular table vinegar, so it packs a punch against all kinds of pesky weeds. Use Green Gobbler's Vinegar Weed Killer to safely kill dandelions, crabgrass, clover, ivy, and more. It's perfect for driveways, pavers, fence lines, and other outdoor surfaces. Green Gobbler Vinegar Weed Killer is an effective and powerful herbicide, but it doesn't stop there. It's also certified for organic use, so when used properly, it won't negatively affect soil or wildlife. Since Green Gobbler's Vinegar Weed Killer is pure vinegar with no other additives, pet owners can let their pets out to play right after application. Search for Green Gobbler Vinegar Weed Killer on Amazon.com today. We offer a hassle-free money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
For all your indoor growing needs, equipment, and supplies, it's WeGrowIndoors.com.
When it comes to bulk landscaping materials, Bluemel's Garden and Landscape Center is where everyone goes. Whatever the project, we have the materials you need with over 40 varieties to choose from. Soils, mulches, gravels, decorative stones, fresh cut sod. Bluemel's has these products in stock and ready for easy pickup or fast delivery. So what are you waiting for? Now is the time to get your yard back into shape. Stop in and pick these materials up or call us for delivery today. Nobody does bulk landscaping materials better than Bluemel's Garden and Landscape Center.
Bluemel's 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show is brought to you by the following: Phylum Bio Products, Spartan Mosquito, Dr. Jim's, Nasala Kabucha, MI Greenhouse LLC, Green Gobbler, Water Hoop, Seed Savers Exchange. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool to find the right size for your digging project. Visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, sliding through another episode. We appreciate you joining us each week. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, the destination for everything, past shows and everything that we do, videos in the garden and how-tos. Well, Holly, it's getting that time of year where farmers markets are going to be open, even in the situation that we're currently living in. There are farmers markets and they are deemed essential, but there are some things that, one, you would need to follow regardless, and two, some things that we should be cautious about even now.
Right. So one thing to note about the farmers markets is typically we do recommend people shop around. So maybe you move from booth to booth, what have you. But if at this point they're limiting the amount of people that are going to the market, you might not have that chance. So definitely still go to the farmers market. But I don't want to say take what you can get. But if you do have the opportunity, maybe if you go early or you go late or something, and there's not a lot of people around, or if it's like a daytime thing, you can go midday. I would recommend then kind of making sure you do check out all of the
right, because
vendors.
Now with these farmers markets, regardless, they have a parameter in which the organizers set. You can't sell beets for $52 a beet and have somebody else sell them for a nickel. There is some range in which is set forth ahead of time, so they are within, a quarter to a dollar, something of that range there. But be aware that there are some farmers, and it also depends on, they have to have a cost. They have a cost, and they know that I can't go below X amount of dollars for this particular item. It doesn't matter if the neighbor next door is selling them for 50 cents less. They know what their cut has to be, and they know how much they have to make in order to make ends meet.
Right. Another thing is to...
and if you can afford it, it may not hurt to pay the little extra, because all of these people, farmers across the board, if they don't grow it, who is?
Right. Another thing is, talk to them. Talk to them about what they got going on, their experiences.
They will talk to you.
They will talk to you. Sometimes we suggest asking for samples or recipes. Definitely ask for recipes. Samples might not be.
If they have it on their website, their Facebook page.
Something like that. Yeah, you definitely want to talk with them about what they're selling. I discovered ground cherries at a farmer's market because I was given a sample, and I definitely like them, and now we grow them. So things that you can do.
Oh, and if you can't grow if you can't grow cauliflower, you can ask them, how do you grow this cauliflower? They will tell you how they grow it. Is it certified organic? Is it organic? Is it non-organic? What does the terms mean?
That's another thing, is like if they use spray versus powder versus something else. Definitely talk.
They can't just say they're certified organic, because there is a tremendous amount of paperwork and criteria in which one has to go through in order to get that certification. If they just make it up, they basically lost their farm, because they will be sued, and you can't just falsely claim that you are certified organic if you don't have the paperwork and the documentation to back it up from the United States Department of Agriculture. It doesn't happen.
Right. So you definitely want to talk with them about their methods for pest control or whatever, weeds, what have you, versus just assuming that they're growing organically. Another thing is we suggest you to bring your own bags. This has become controversial at the grocery store this year, or as of late. I don't know how farmers markets are going to do it. Just keep in mind that if they give you a plastic bag, it's not like when you go to your big box store, like that's a drop in the bucket of cash for them. For a farmer, that is, they're paying for those bags, and they might not be a lot or whatever, but if you bring your own, it's a lot handier. It's better for the environment, obviously, and it's going to save them some money.
Well, another thing about farmers markets is it's not just vegetables. They sell meat, they sell cheese, they sell bread.
They sell even grains like oats.
Crafts?
Yeah, crafts. Bug spray, handmade soap, all sorts of stuff.
It's not a bad thing to pick up, because most of the time, if you're buying meat from a farmer's market, it typically, and it's not across the board, but that farmer, it was their animal that they butchered out, or they had a processor do it for them, so they know the whole chain of command of where the animal grew, how it was butchered, and what was fed. It was all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that is maybe a priority as we get farther into the year.
Another thing you can do is you can buy in bulk, not necessarily immediately, but if you talk with that farm when you're like,
I'm making coleslaw.
Yeah, making coleslaw, or I want to can tomatoes, whatever, what have you. You definitely can speak with them, and then they can typically take an order, and then they can bring it the next time.
Or you may be able to go by their farm and pick it up. However they do it. You can go early. That's typically just like yard sale goers. Early is the best, depending on the situation. And you can always speak up.
Mm-hmm, definitely. If you have a question, if you have a request, whatever, you can even talk to the Farmers Market Association or whoever is putting that farmers market on. If there's something that you would like to request, or who knows, definitely
concern.
Yeah, you definitely want to talk with people about that. It is warming up, and I want you to I know you want to make sure you can enjoy your yard without straining it with beetles and grubs.
With spring, just like right here, it's time to start thinking about controlling beetles and grubs in your garden and your yard. Grub Gun can be applied to turf or garden or around ornamentals to control grubs and lessen the impact that beetles have on your lawn yard this summer.
Biologically, it specifically targets grub and beetle invaders without harming beneficials such as ladybugs, bees, butterflies, and to be honest,
all the good bugs that we talked about.
Right? And to be honest, it's the only non-chemical that works. So go to phyllombioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.
Easy to use and apply with a commercial spreader or irrigate into the soil. Well, do not go anywhere. When we come back, Kate Dubow will be with us. She's an author, a guest host, and a garden trend expert. You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, a program to help you grow a better garden.
You can bet the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardeners phone lines are always jammed during the show. So Joey and Holly keep their phone lines open 24/7 to help you. Call anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-7469. Or just remember 1-800-927-SHOW. SHOW. Leave a message and they will call you back.
Planting conditions are always favorable with the Power Planter Earth Auger. No matter what the job is, Power Planter has the right size for you. Simply attach to a drill and let the Power Planter do the work for you, creating holes fast and efficiently with ease. Find the size that fits your project at powerplanter.com. Tree Ripe Citrus Company has top quality produce that comes right to your neighborhood with the freshest peaches and blueberries you'll find. To find locations, go to tree-ripe.com. Do not settle for the rest when you can have the best peaches and blueberries with Tree Ripe Citrus Company. Go to tree-ripe.com.
Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com.
Seed Savers Exchange has been saving, preserving, and sharing heirloom seeds since 1975, and today continues to provide those seeds to gardeners just like you. With 600-plus varieties offered in this year's catalog and 18,000 listings on their exchange, their gardener-to-gardener seed swap, Seed Savers Exchange is keeping cherished seed varieties alive. Visit seedsavers.org to request a free catalog or to purchase seeds online for this year's growing season. That's seedsavers.org.
Do not go anywhere. There is more of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show to come, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com.
Oh, yeah. What you say? You say Nasala Kombucha. It'll put some glide in your stride and some pep in your step. Nasala Kombucha. Yeah.
Nasala Kombucha makes your body happy. Nasala Kombucha makes your body smile.
Hello, gardeners. It's It's Ann from Neptune's Harvest Organic Fertilizers in Gloucester, Mass. If you're planting flowers, vegetables, shrubs, or just trying to keep your lawn healthy and green, then you should know about Neptune's Harvest. Neptune's Harvest fertilizers come from the mineral-rich North Atlantic Ocean, which contains all the nutrients plants and soil need. Flower growers, get your sunglasses out. You'll want to use them when you're looking at how bright those colors are. Vegetable growers, with Neptune's Harvest, you can achieve the amazing results you deserve for all your efforts. You'll have the most abundant, sweet-tasting supply of organically grown produce, and there's nothing like the taste of a fresh garden tomato you grew yourself. Neptune's Harvest works so great, whether you know what you're doing or not, you'll look good, and you'll feel good, because you're doing the right thing for the environment and your health. Try Neptune's Harvest products from the ocean to set your plants in motion. Available at your local garden center, and to learn more, go to neptunesharvest.com.
Stay tuned and you can win a gallon of Neptune's Harvest Liquid Fertilizer, a $50 value, following the commercial break.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Power Planter Earth Augers, Ivy Organics, Root Maker, Pomona Universal Pectin, CHAPIN Manufacturing Incorporated, Pro Plugger, Tomato Snaps, World's Coolest Floating Rain Gauge. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. I've got some great news for all of you who are interested and wanting to go to Bluemel's Landscape and Garden Center to get your garden needs met. And if you're not planning on, I encourage you to go over there and check them out. There will be some items that will be allowed for drive-up ordering, like grass seed, bagged products, other items such as that. But they plan to open their greenhouse by the first week in May here, this week right now. Check with Bluemels.com for more information. With the new restrictions and protocols in place, obviously, for the protection of the staff, as well as for the protection of you. You can find Bluemels at 4930 West Loomis Road, just off of Layton. You can give them a call at 282-4220. And again, check them out at Bluemels.com.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Thank you for being part of the program this week. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, your destination for everything that we do, past shows, videos, and a whole lot more. Well, during the break, you heard from Neptune's Harvest that it's time for you to enter to win a prize package. Holly, what are they offering this week?
This week they are offering 1 gallon fish and seaweed blend, 1 4-pound bag of crab and lobster shell, 1 4-ounce best yet biting insect spray, also 1 t-shirt, 1 hat, 2 koozies, and 2 stickers. That's a $150 value. This is open to listeners 18 years and older living in the contiguous United States. The prize will be shipped to you. The giveaway ends Thursday, May 7th at 9 a.m. The winner will be notified via email. And for more information, you can visit us at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and just click on the giveaway tab to enter and all that good information.
Email gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, enter me. And in the context box, you're going to answer this question. What are the 2 most popular items that cabbage is used to make? What is the 2 most popular items that cabbage is used to make? Email us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. And you could be a winner. Well, Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Katie Dubow is an author, guest host on QVC, president of the Garden Media Group, and a longtime garden enthusiast. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joey and Holly. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join Holly and myself and all of our listeners across the country to enlighten us and give and share your knowledge with all of us.
Oh, you're welcome. And, you know, now that we're all on lockdown, it's a little less busy, I have to say, than other times.
Definitely. Now, why is gardening and green living so important to you? Where did that passion come from? And why does it continue to be a passion for you?
Oh, well, you know, here we are sitting in, I don't even know what week we're in, week 6 of this lockdown. And I'm a huge believer in garden therapy. I think that Gardening brings us so much joy. It's such a meditative practice for me. It is my solace. I do it for peace of mind. I do it for beauty too. I garden because I want my yard to look good. The same reason why I'll put on a little bit of lipstick and care about what I wear. I really do care about what my yard looks like. But when it comes down to it, I have to say that gardening and green living, as you put it, are important to me because of the footprint that I leave here on this earth. And I know that you guys feel the same way. And even before I owned, I've owned a house now for about 10 years, a while. But even before that, I lived in New York City and I wrote a little blog about climate change. I got a certificate in environmental studies from Columbia University. And I'm passionate about doing the right thing. And passion is the right word. You ask about that. And I think it comes from my parents. I think that so many of us have passed down or inherited this love of nature from our parents. And whether it was an older person that you grew up with or someone that you watched garden from afar, I think that, that's where it comes from for me. My dad is a biology teacher and my mom, of course, started Garden Media Group. And so gardening's in my blood. But, it really does have so many positive effects on the climate. And that's what it comes back to for me. When you garden, the plants add nutrients to the soil. Trees, all the endless benefits of trees for providing the shade to, carbon dioxide, sucking the carbon dioxide from the air. And of course, growing our own food. That's definitely one of my favorite things to do outside. And I grow my own food. It reduces my food miles. But then that gets back to that garden therapy aspect. And I get to feed my family. So I don't know. I think right now, there's really nothing more hopeful for gardening. And it just makes me so joyful to be able to do it.
Definitely. Now, home gardeners do have a positive impact on soil erosion and runoff. And why is that? And how can they have even more of a positive impact aside from what they're doing?
I'm telling you, Holly, I love this question because soil is not a sexy topic, right? It's not one of those things that people, when you go on and you see the garden shows and they're talking about flowers and they're talking about maybe food even, and I'm passionate about soil. I could talk about soil all day. And one of Garden Media Group's, one of the things that we're really known for and that we are really passionate about are garden trends. And in our trends report for 2020, which came out last fall, one of the trends was called endangered soil. And, gardeners know about soil, but I think in the general population, it's not something that people are so educated on. But before the 20th century, our soil was healthy and it was organically dense. Our food was rich in vitamins and minerals. But over, the last 100 years, some erosion, deforestation, some other practices that can be bad to the soil have happened. And so now our soil is stripped of nutrients. And so gardeners make the positive impact by practicing this term. We say it in our trends report called regenerative gardening, but really it's just gardening. You're growing plants, you're putting nutrients back into the soil. And there are a couple ways that I think that positive impact, the ways that we can do that. And the first step that I really urge people to think about is, whether you're planting broccoli or begonias, is garden organically, because our soil is a living organism. Some people think of it as dirt. And one of the funny things in our trends report, we say dirt is a 4-letter word to people. But really, it's something that is living and we need to feed that soil. I actually just started. Have you guys ever done sourdough bread?
We have not, but we're actually thinking about it, as we get more into this isolation.
Right? Yeah, so I just got a starter, and it's just the same concept that you have to feed your sourdough starter to keep it alive. You have to feed your soil to keep it alive. So that's what gardeners are good at. Compost, It's one of the best things you can do for your soil. It's like creating a probiotic for your soil. Plus, going back to that sustainability aspect, it reduces your household waste by almost 40%. Of course, I think if you're going to garden organically, you add organic fertilizers, you till with worms, use biochar. Those are all great ways that gardeners are having a positive impact on soil erosion. Is we are putting those living organisms back in the soil, and believe it or not, they hold the soil together. They feed the soil, and that's how you have healthy soil that not only feeds your plants, but feeds the planet.
And that's the thing. You got to feed the soil for the plants to feed you. It's a living organism that is important. It's just not a one and done thing.
Exactly. It is a full circle thing.
Now, you host on QVC a number of times. Now, this may not be interesting to some people, but I love to figure out what goes on behind the scenes of productions and radio shows and TV shows. Whenever you give us a little behind the scenes insight, are the segments always live, or are they pre-recorded to make look live? What goes on?
I know. When I first started, and a lot of people didn't know that people sell plants on QVC. So the brand is called Cottage Farms, and it really is a lot of fun because my mission is to grow more gardeners. Just like you guys, as a communicator, I want more people growing plants 365 days a year. So if one of the ways to do that is through QVC, I am all for it. And yes, I told my dad, okay, I'm going to be on at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, oh, okay, what time do you tape that? Like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I think I had to tell him like 3 or 4 times, yeah, I'll be on at 6 a.m. Oh, okay. What time do you have to be there? 6 a.m. So, the interesting thing, I think that when I first started, I actually started out in television. When I graduated from college, I worked at CBS television. And so I was shocked 20 years later to come back into a studio, and it's all robotics. So there's actually no camera operators, no lighting operators. So the only people really who are in that studio are you and the host. And so it really is just like having a conversation with a friend. The hosts are so good at their job. They are, always bubbly, always energetic, and they always know the exact right thing to say. And that's what they say about QVC. You're supposed to act like you're in their home. You're a guest of theirs. So you follow their lead. But yeah, always live. And I've asked them, I said, I've never had a blooper. Like, I expect.
Don't say that.
I know, knock on wood, to go out with food in my teeth or say something. I did say something once about a clematis, a sapphire indigo clematis, which grows really low to the ground. It stays about 2 to 3 feet tall. So I said it works great for covering like the legs of a rose, like the days you don't shave your legs. And one of the hosts, he looked at me, he goes, yep, you just said that. So he's really funny, but it's like, can't take it back. It's live TV.
I'll be. Well, you are in the garden trend industry. You spoke a little bit about the trends that you saw in the fall. What are you seeing? What was the garden trends prior to the pandemic? And are you seeing those trends change in any way dramatically currently?
Yeah, so this is so interesting. We are actually right in the middle of working on our 2021 trends, which is our 20th Garden Trends Report. And it usually comes out in July at a big garden industry trade show, which this year has been, it's been canceled. It's going online. It's going virtual. So we're right in the middle of this. And I think what we did see before were a couple of things. The first is convenience. We certainly saw people wanting convenience. But the thing about it now is that brands are catering to people being at home for ultimate convenience. And what has really shifted, particularly in our industry, I'm sure where you guys are too, the local garden centers have had to either close or change their model completely.
Right.
And that is something that has taken, our local garden centers have not been as fast to change as other businesses. And so now they're doing curbside pickup or delivery. And these unique business models are something that we will only see evolve even more. And we'll see more partnerships, I think, in your local communities. I don't know about you guys, but in my town here, restaurants are partnering with the local bakery. Even partnering with the local garden center so you can order some herbs. order your beer, order your cookies, and order dinner for the night. So it's this collaboration between all of the local businesses in the community for one delivery. And it's just how these businesses are banding together is definitely going to be a big trend.
And we've vocalized on social media, even if you don't need a plant or plants, go to your local independent garden center and buy something and just give it to somebody, because without our support, especially at this time, these garden centers won't be here next year.
Absolutely. And there's so many businesses like that. And another trend, certainly you guys have seen it, is the boom in houseplants. And, not just houseplants, but edible gardening. And so both of those things were trending before, but right now they're just going gangbusters. And it's, of course, because we have a little bit more time, but I think also because people are understanding the true benefits of gardening and of nature and of being around nature. You're stuck in your house. I mean, we're all thankful that we actually have a place to go outside, but can you imagine if you lived in an urban area where your only ability to go outside is where another 1,000 people are already standing and you're stuck in your little apartment, or, so houseplants have really enabled people who are in their homes without really much of that access to nature to have that peace of mind, to have that moment of solace in plants. And same with edible gardening. I mean, the Victory Gardens 2.0 movement has I feel like I can't open up a newspaper or virtually open up a newspaper without seeing a new article about someone growing some new kind of food. And I love it. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen an influx of people asking questions about how to grow their own food, and just this trend. I'm sure you've seen it.
Absolutely, yes.
Very close to home.
Yeah, very much so. Well, we appreciate you taking time with us, Katie. How can people find out more about you?
Well, Garden Media Group is the name of our business, gardenmediagroup.com. We're the same name on Facebook and Instagram. And Katie Garden Girl is my personal Facebook page where I post a lot about QVC and, share some information, like you guys try to do, introduce people to other people in our industry.
Well, Katie, thank you very much for taking time to be with Holly, myself, and all of our listeners today.
Thank you. Happy gardening.
Absolutely. And when we come back, it's going to be all about your garden questions and our garden answers. You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, a program to help your garden grow better.
You can bet the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardeners phone lines are always jammed during the show. So Joey and Holly keep their phone lines open 24/7 to help you. Call anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-7469. Or just remember 1-800-927-SHOW. SHOW. Leave a message and they will call you back.
Conserve water, save time, reduce runoff, eco-friendly. Visit waterhoop.com.
Dreaming of a lush green lawn and abundant garden? Not sure what products you need? Check with CHAPIN. From sprayers to spreaders to fertilizer injectors and greener gardening options, CHAPIN offers the products you need to weed and feed your lawn and garden. Feed your plants every time you water with CHAPIN's HydroFeed fertilizer injector. Weed a greener way with CHAPIN's horticultural vinegar sprayer. Check with CHAPIN. Visit www.chapinmfg.com.
World's coolest raingauge.com. Need I say more?
Do not go anywhere. There is more of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show to come, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com.
ShipDrop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. ShipDrop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to ShipDrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account.
The new way to support your tomatoes. Wrap it and snap it. TomatoSnaps.com.
The number one key to healthy, productive plants are the roots. Starting from seed to full-grown plants, RootMaker.com has the answer. From seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots, creating a fabulous root system, never again will you have root-bound plants. To multiple gallon grow bag sizes to raised beds, RootMaker.com has your grow needs covered. Visit RootMaker.com. Use coupon code TWVG at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. The Simply Solar Greenhouse is a one-piece molded fiberglass greenhouse that is easy to install and maintain. Multiple sizes available. Check them all out at migreenhouse.com.
Bluemel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Bluemel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Bluemel's today.
Bluemel's 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Neptune Harvest, Happy Leaf LED, Dripworks, We Grow Indoors, Deer Defeat, Harvest More, Blue Ribbon Organics, Bluemel's Landscape and Garden Center, Chip Drop. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Question and answer time. If you got a question, you can submit it to us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. You can also call us anytime, 24/7 at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-SHOW. Holly, what's the question that we have coming this week? What's the first one?
I'm looking for the best cure to get rid of rabbits other than trapping them. I've used a lot of stuff: mothballs, Irish Spring soap, apple cider vinegar, crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, and rabbit scram, repels, etc. Yet these do not work. What can I do?
You can put up a 2-foot high poultry fence or chicken wire around your property or around the place in which you're gardening. We've done that. Worked very well. We keep it up year round. You can also use a product called Deer Defeat. It is an all-natural, environmentally safe repellent for deer, rabbit, and groundhogs and other browsing animals, while effectively preventing them from eating the vegetation. It's not going to keep them away from the property. It's going to train them in order to prevent them from eating the vegetation, and it doesn't wash off, reapply, it doesn't freeze and all that other beneficial stuff. You can go to deerdefeat.com and use coupon code radio and save 10% on your order if you buy from them. But it is a very organic and natural. It's a natural product that works very, very well to repel and keep these animals from eating your hard worked planted vegetation. All right, next question, Holly. Just listen to your podcast about straw bale gardening. We had Joe Karsten, the author, a couple of weeks ago on the program. If you missed that, you can send us an email at gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we'll get you the copy of that. And want to find out, how do you keep rodents out of your bale?
So the best way is to keep the bale moist. So you want to make sure the bale is always damp like a sponge, but not soaking wet. And you just want to make sure it always stays nice and moist. The rodents aren't going to find a home in there if it's nice and damp. Another
question about straw bale gardening here, Holly. When conditioning the straw bale, can I use regular water from my hose? Will that be okay, or do I need to do something special to it?
No, that's fine. You can use regular water from your hose. That's not a problem. Just definitely make sure that you follow the directions.
And I think I think it related to the chlorine in municipal water. It's been shown that chlorine doesn't kill the microbial life that once was thought.
Yeah, so most of that microbial life has a buffering capacity, even in a straw bale, so it's fine.
All right, next question. I soaked my chickpeas that I was going to plant in a wet paper towel for 7 days, and they got really mushy. I guess I shouldn't just plant them. I should have just planted them directly in the soil without soaking them. Can I use store-bought chickpeas? And if I'm going to soak them again, what do you recommend?
So if you do soak them, I wouldn't soak them for longer.
24 hours.
Than 24 hours, yeah definitely not. Also, chickpeas are not like a bean or an okra. They don't have as much of a seed coat. They're more of like a like a lentil, so they're a little bit softer. And you can use store-bought. I would use organic, though.
And you don't know how long those beans have been in that bag from the store, so you may have a germination decrease
You might
on
want
those.
to test them.
Yeah, start 10 of them and see how many of those actually germinate. The seeds, may have poor germination rate, and the organic ones, like you said, Holly, other ones can be treated with chemicals on it. So, yeah. Let's see here. Next question. I have some wild raspberries on a second property that I would like to, that I don't get to very often. And I would like to dig a few up and bring the second year canes to my property and plant them in a container at the house. And I can harvest them before the birds beat me to them. Do you think that raspberries would be good in a container, or should I buy them from the nursery?
As long as you plant it in a large enough container, it will do just fine. You want to transplant when the plant is still in dormancy, so basically as soon as possible. You might be able to do it now, but also with the patch on other property, you could look at bird netting, or you can lay over the top of the plants to keep the birds away.
Yeah, I would look at that bird netting for the other property to see if that would...
Especially if those raspberry plants are flourishing.
Right. You're very fortunate enough to have a large patch on the other property. Okay, next question here is, when onions are seeding, would the stalks of the onion be good for flavoring stock, like vegetable stock?
You would have to make that decision yourself. It could taste okay, because even if the onion stalks taste a little bit wild or woody, your stock might not absorb that flavor, especially if you mix it with other vegetables.
Things.
Yeah. However, if you taste the onion stalk and it tastes woody or weird or whatever, it is a chance your stock would taste that way. So kind of use your best discretion, give it a taste test, and see how you feel.
All right, next question.
I have bent grass in my lawn. Do you know how to kill it without hurting my fescue lawn?
Well, it's also called creeping bent grass, and it's a very aggressive grass. It's similar to if you're familiar with creeping Charlie. It will grow in the sun and in the shade. It's also found on golf courses. It's a prevalent grass in those types of industries. It's a bluish-green color, and it's got fine blends of grass, very thin blades of grass on it. There are two ways to get rid of it, and one is using a glyphosate harmful weed killer, and that can you spray it and it's going to kill all your grass. So that's not the option that you would want to go with. However, with that option as well as this next option, it's not going to kill it right away. There's several applications in which you're going to have to apply. Holly, what is the treatment here? What's the ingredient or the product in which we can use?
You can use something called Tenacity. It's not cheap, but it will kill the fescue. But will not kill the fescue, but will control the bent grass.
And again, that'll take over 2 to 3 years and several applications. And again, that is not cheap. And when I say not cheap, about an 8-ounce bottle is around $70 for the application. You dilute it and you go that way. You can find it on most of your online retail stores. Okay, what do we got next here? We've got a question about worms. Holly, does worms damage your plants by eating the stems or the roots?
Well, cutworms can, and they will eat the roots, sometimes the foliage on the young plants, but earthworms do not. So you'd have to figure out if you think you have cutworms, look for cutworm damage. However, earthworms will not eat the stems or the roots of plants.
But jumping worms, which we have in the upper Midwest portions of the United States and other portions of the area, that doesn't eat the roots. However, it eats the organic matter which the roots are utilizing to grow, and that kills the plant that way. You'll know you have jumping worms if you look at the soil and it looks like you have poured dry coffee grounds out on the ground, and that is the byproduct of what the jumping worm has done, and they will vibrate or shake rapidly, frantically whenever they're exposed to sunlight. And there's no known application or chemical that can be used in order to eradicate the jumping worm. The parent worms, I guess what you would call them, live during the summer, lay their eggs. The eggs hibernate or dormancy over the winter. The parent worms die, and then baby worms come and populate over and over and over again. And it's very hard to control them because the eggs are so small that they will fall through any sieve or any type of sifting mechanisms that a commercial greenhouse or composting facility may have. So you need to be aware of that it can be a very detrimental situation to that.
But as far as earthworms, no. Areas of my rhubarb leaves are turning yellow. I can't seem to find a diagram identifying the parts of the rhubarb leaves, so please bear with me. The part turning yellow is on the area either side of the rib. This runs through the leaves. This has never happened before.
Okay, so a couple of things with rhubarb. Holly, you don't like rhubarb, so this is not applicable to you. This would be a problem of either overwatering or lack of nutrient. You should be fertilizing your rhubarb plant either in container or in the ground about a half a cup of about an all-balanced fertilizer, like a 10-10 or a 6-5-8 or an 8-4-3, or something of that realm, in the spring. And then, again, you can fertilize again in that range in the fall. Apply the fertilizer as a circle around the base of the plant, and you can water it in, or you can put it around the base of the plant and put a little compost on top of it. And this is not, you don't have to do this repetitively throughout the year, just twice a year, and you should be fine. You want to keep the soil damp, not moist. Overwatering can actually cause problems of lack of nutrients, of nutrients going up in the plant. Also, if you over-fertilize, you can prevent and lock out elements that the plant is needing to pick up in order to grow correctly. So there's a lot of different things in which, and this falls under the category of all plants that you have to do this with in order to have a plant that's going to grow correctly. I think we got time for one more, Holly.
Matt asks, hi, Joy and Holly. For the first time since 2019, I planted a cover crop, winter wheat, on my garden last fall. Now that I'm preparing the garden, I'm finding dealing with the cover crop to be more of a challenge than I anticipated. It's like a grass, like a thick grass or a sod. Any suggestions here?
Okay, so winter wheat, or any type of wheat, when you cut it, it's not going to come again. It's not like a leaf lettuce. So once you cut it, it's going to die and it's going to begin to decay in the soil. Now, if you have a thick mat, you can do a couple of things. If you're in an area in which it's okay to, you could burn that off. You could till that under, or you could just cut it off and it will decay, and you can plant in amongst that winter wheat that once was the rootstock as it decays and feeds the soil. So there's a couple of different options there when it comes to dealing with that. It can be a very thick sod, but again, as it dies, it will begin to rot away and it won't come back. So hopefully that helps. Well, Holly, we're out of time, and we thank you for all of you who are listening. Miss any portion of this program or want to revisit in its entirety, you can certainly do that by going to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and clicking on the Radio Season 4 tab at the top of the page. Or you can send us an email at gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we will send you a copy of today's show. And you can ask for past shows if you've missed those as well. You are able to go to our site and find all that content. Tell your garden friends and your relatives and people you don't like that Garden Talk Radio is on the air, because that's how we spread our message, with your help through podcasts and actual radio broadcasts. Join us next week on the show. We'll be talking about the best crops to grow in containers, and we will go over what you need to know about growing vine crops in your garden. Pumpkins, cucumbers, melons, all of that. And our guest will be very popular, well-known garden author, radio personality, and garden expert. Melinda Myers will be with us and will answer your garden questions. Until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.